Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long goes 1975. A YouTuber's on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long goes 1975.
This is Salamander on the ZX Spectrum 48K, hence the really shit music. The really shit music. It was released by Imagine in 1987, a year or so after the arcade game, and it was also released on the Commodore and the Amstrad, obviously Salamander. If you've been watching my channel, you know what Salamander is, you know what the Gradius games are. I've been playing a whole chunk of them on the X68000, I've played a whole chunk of them on the PC Engine. Now, I played this years ago on my channel because I had this as a kid and it pissed me off royally. But I thought I'd revisit it because I'm running this on FBZX Wii, on my Wii, and I can poke it, and I've never used pokes. I don't know why, actually. I think it's because I don't know how to use them, and it turns out they're really simple. So we're going to poke it because I want to see how far this game goes. It's not as shit as Nemesis, released by Konami themselves on the Spectrum, the infamous lie where they sent doctored screenshots to Sinclair user who bought into it, I don't know, a bribe or something, and said this is the greatest game ever, and the screenshots made it look like it was pumping out something very close to the arcade, apart from there was a watermark in the bottom, or a signature I should say, in the bottom right hand corner of the screen. We all fell for it, lots of people fell for it. The actual game was a pup, have a gameplay out on this channel. Don't know why we fell for it. Other magazines had the actual version and reviewed that and said it was shit. But anyway, being a massive fan of Salamander in the arcades, I bought this when it was released and it cost me $7.95 and I stuck to it. But you'll see why, because it's bullserifically hard, because it's flawed. Anyway, so that tiny little bit in the middle of the screen, the black bit underneath Salamander, and to the left and the right of what doesn't look like a salamander, looks more like a chupacabra, and obviously it lets you know it's made by Konami. I don't think this was Konami who bought it, as in Konami who did Nemesis. I really do think it was Imagine, but anyway, so that's your play area. Now, before anyone says, but Dave, this is the 48K ZX Spectrum, there was no way it was going to do Salamander. All I'm going to say is 48K ZX Spectrum R-Type. Look it up. Look up R-Type. It was 48K only, you had to load in each level. Each level, I did a full gameplay because I found a version where you could load all the levels in one go, and 1 to 8K. It was a hacked ROM, but yeah. And then we'll come back to this. So, I'm going to poke it, but first I want to show you how fucking hard it is, and broken, and this infuriated Ickle Dave, not only because he lost 8 quid of his money back in the day. Right, K, enter keys. Now, up, down, left, right, fire. So, the fact that we don't have a select means it does have the power-up system from the first Salamander arcade machine, because there are versions and variants where they actually swapped in the power-up system from Nemesis. I don't know how that would have worked when it was this isn't 2 players simultaneous, but when it was 2 players simultaneous in the arcades with the Nemesis power-up, because then you really are fighting for power-ups. Anyway, 1. Here we go, player 1. So, one thing I can say immediately, I do like the Vic Viper. Right. Your firing is all kinds of shit. Be close, right? If you're close, then you can, I don't mean when you got the laser, you can fire properly. But the further back you are, you can't hammer. It doesn't hammer like the arcade. You cannot get more than 2 options. You probably want to stick to bullets. When you see these things, you immediately shoot that bit there. Your missiles don't go along the floor. Look at the tiny, tiny, tiny play area. I have no idea how I'm still alive. Again, you're saying there's no way you could do the arcade game. Fucking hell. If I didn't have rockets, I wouldn't be doing anything. But again, R-Type. This was a travesty. This got half decent reviews, I think. And to be fair, it's an accurate. I got to the teeth. I did get to the teeth just now, but obviously my camera died. It is, you know, everything from the first level is in here. Fortunately, or unfortunately, oh no, it doesn't. It bumps. See, you have to get to a certain stage, or it doesn't bump you back. But here you go. Here's a teeth. I can't shoot those. They're actual, you know, projectiles. I've only got 3 lives. I've got no continues. Did I mention that the sound was shit? I know I did, but the sound is shit. I need to risk dying on, you know, his chompers because I need a power up. But at the same time, it lulls me in and I cannot avoid the fire. So that, the teeth, just after the teeth I should say, it's pretty much as far as I ever got. I don't know, my voice cracked then, it's probably the sheer fucking frustration of this game. As far as I ever forgot, I wish I could forget, got on the ZX Spectrum. I thought, why have I got more lives than I thought I had? Did I accidentally press 2 player? No, oh, sweet, sweet, sweet release. I'm sure there are people out there who can play it, I absolutely sure there are, and you know what? Good for you. Equal Dave and Larger Dave can't play it. So, we're going to poke this bad boy, and we're going to give myself infinite lives, all power-ups, which you only get once you've powered up, and invulnerability, and we're going to plough through the entire game. Right, so I've just poked it. Awkward. And let's have another go. I bet this doesn't work, now that I tried it for literally the 2nd time ever. Right, up, down, left, right, fire, 1. Because when it says all weapons, I initially thought, surely I'd start with them. No, you don't. I can get cheeky though, because I'm invulnerable. I think I'm invulnerable, I don't know. Yeah, I am. Also, I can tell you right now, there is no ripple laser, sorry, nipple laser. Right, look, am I... Yeah. There we go. To be fair, when I played R-Type, the hacked 128K version from start to finish, I played that in invulnerability mode. But then, that's genuinely hard, because it's a genuine, accurate port of the arcade. This is just stupidly broken. It's for the best part, or the most part, even though I'm a god, I'm a god, not the god, points to the quotes, I will try and avoid stuff, just so you get an impression on, like, look, like, how's anything happening there? Like, how unrealistic this is of you getting through it without cheating. I don't really need any more weapons. So look at this bit. Right, the teeth is just about doable, but then, also, they're not firing mad bastards at me, because I'm invulnerable, so he can't see me. I don't know. Because that bit's not in the arcade, is it? But look, so you got the level stuff, and you got this. This is reasonably impressive. I mean, the levels in here, it's just a weird, mirror-twisted, dark, evil version of the arcade, which you could argue is evil anyway, because it's so fucking hard. Also, your orbs don't behave properly. Look, they should be blasting a path, top and beneath me. But look, we got the boss. He doesn't move. So here you go. And this is a thing with quite a lot of the Nemesis games in the arcades, Radius, which is the final boss fights. This isn't the final boss fight, I am aware of that, are incredibly easy, despite the entire journey getting there isn't. He's alright. Right, so it's going to go up now. Never got there as a kid. Never got there as a kid. Problem with this bit here, Shah, if you will, is the enemy ships are exactly the same colour as the asteroids. Which is obviously a Spectrum thing, I know. It just keeps giving me the laser over and over again. So avoiding them is, well, damn near impossible. Now, it skips out, well, it's never going to do the weird flashing Caesar screen. Caesar, sorry, not the Roman bloke. It's never going to do that, but it misses out the boss. Again, R-Type on the Spectrum, anyone? R-Type on the Spectrum. It would appear, easy for me to say because I'm invulnerable, so I'm possibly hitting stuff and not realising I am, but this is not as difficult as level 1. Right, so yeah, so there's no boss. Oh look, it's taking control of me. Here we are. Remember this bit? Wow, I know it was tightly cropped in the arcade on the PC Engine and the X6800. But yeah, also there's no big looping flames. Again, see R-Type comments. It's just out there, isn't it? It's just so they can say, look, well, we knew no one was going to get past the first 2 levels. If they got here, they probably just would have thought, I'm badass, and then given up. It's taken over. We're going up again. So we get our second shooting stage. So this is stage 4. I mean, this isn't the worst, you know, scroller I've seen. It's small. There's no background graphics as such. So it's probably the worst scroller I've seen. Well, it's not, but there's stuff doing much better than this in 1986. Look at Terra Cognita by Codemasters back then. Right, so anyway, occasionally, because it tells you the power up at the top in between the scores, you'll get a speed up. Gave me missiles again. But it won't, I guess the programmers just went, since they knew they were fucking us on this one, I don't even know how to make ring lasers. Screw it. Again, R-Type. Hey, if you programmed this game on the Spectrum back in the day, by some chance you happen to watch this, I want my fucking money back. That was £8. Think of the fucking 10p mix-ups I could have bought from the sweet shop back then. And issues of 2000 AD. And Amazing Spider-Man, because I read Amazing Spider-Man in 1987 because that was cool. Right, so I know, despite me bashing it and constantly saying think what R-Type did, but it's just, I guess it'd be slightly better, more enjoyable if like this is happening without invulnerability. You got to shoot them. To be fair, I never got in the arcade. You're never avoiding them. I think you got to shoot them. I'm not getting any in the hole. Am I even destroying them? There's no indication that you're causing any damage. Yeah, I'm going to watch someone do a gameplay on this after I've done this, and they're going to beat this entire game like on 1 life, you know, and then I'm going to realise that it's easy, and I'm just shite at it. And it's a really good game. I'm going to try rockets. Because nothing... Oh, was that a rocket? I don't know. So, what's the next level? Presumably it's a side-scroller. Next level. Thank you for telling me what the next level is. Guess what? It means next level as in difficulty. Because we just go straight back to flying down the snake's cake hole again. So, yeah. The rest of the game just isn't in here. And it can't be that it's a multi-loader, because it would have said insert side 2. And I knew it wasn't a multi-loader. And also, again, like, whatever you had to do to butcher the levels, just put 6 levels in 7 levels. Unless there are only 4 levels in the arcade. But I cannot believe that there are. I'm sure when I was watching a documentary on, you know, all the variants and versions of Nemesis and Salamander, that there were more than this. But yeah, so I guess the reason it was so unbelievably hard and Ickle Dave could only ever get literally just past the teeth on an extremely good day, and not very often, was because they wanted to kind of disguise the fact that the rest of the game wasn't in here. And even as a kid, right, well, I don't know if I ever saw anyone in the arcades get past that, but I still would have, as a kid, felt kind of cheated that, wait, I only had 4 levels. Or would I have? Well, I would have just felt cheated that I would never have got to see him anyway, because it's so fucking hard. So there you go. After all these years, I finally got to the end of Salamander on the ZX Spectrum, and yeah, not only was it balls hard, it was balls hard to hide the fact that it was missing a bunch of levels. I wonder if it was missing levels on the Commodore 64 and the Amstrad CPC, possibly on the Amstrad CPC, because, see, look at this. Alright, so it did ramp up the difficulty in a game that's broken and unbelievably difficult anyway. At least if you were amazing in the arcade, it was on you for being skillful, not the game for being a bit, well, not just broken, limited, I guess, by, you know, its hardware. But yeah, so yeah, the Amstrad would have been a port of the Spectrum or something like that. I doubt they would have written it from the ground up. So here you go, mate, should have gone to Specsavers. So yeah, all these years later, I got to the end of Salamander on the Spectrum, and it's a lie. Anyway, as always, I'd love to know what you think, especially if you played this back in the day and felt it was ripped off as me, or never got to the end and didn't realise that we were short sold a shit sandwich. Anyway, as always, I'd love to know what you think. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you later.